Good morning. I'd like to welcome you to the Lord's house as we're gathered together to worship Him. As Rhoda was playing through, one of the songs she played was "He giveth," has the words "He giveth and giveth again," and I was thinking about how we can't really outgive God. I woke up this morning and it wasn't pouring rain, but it had been raining and it was coming down just a little tiny bit. And I was thinking how gracious, when we need the rain, God sends us the rain, and when we need it to dry up, He sends the sun, and all of those different things. And just wonderful. Sometimes it's easy to live our lives and forget how great our God really is. And we're gathered this morning with the purpose of worshiping Him. And so as we gather, we're going to begin our worship service in just a moment or two. If you have your bulletins with you, kind of look down through and you'll see all the different things in there that are going on. This evening, our 1 Timothy Bible study, we got started with chapter 2 last week. We got into a number of different tangents and kind of went off here and there, and so we got about 4 or 5 verses out of the few that I was going to have us look at. So we're going to finish that up and move on. And we've had some wonderful times as we've looked at the words of encouragement and the different things that Paul gave to Timothy as he was heading off to his pastorate at the church in Ephesus. And so We'll be continuing to do that. Wednesday we have our prayer meeting, and that will be at 6 p.m. and that'll be here at the church. Also, have you finalized the date yet? I know when you guys met on Tuesday, there was talk of the cleaning day, and the tentative date was June 12th. Is that going to be the cleaning day, or is it?
No, it's June 12th.
It is June 12th, okay. There was just some questions when Cheryl came back. She wasn't really sure whether that was the actual day or not. So put that in your calendars. June 12th, we're going to be having a cleaning day. And in case you're wondering how big a cleaning day this is going to be, perhaps if you go around the back of the church, you'll notice there's a roll-off out back. So we're going to be doing some massive cleaning, taking care of some things that some of you have told me over the years probably should have been gone a while ago. But we're gonna do some cleaning out, and we have plenty to do. It doesn't matter where you are in terms of your strength or anything. There's a lot to do. There's windows to wash, and there's things to sort through, and places to look through, and cobwebs to pull down, and all of those things. And so we're going to do that. Also, to let you know, I'm sure you're all aware of it. Tonight, when we come in for our evening service, when we leave, all of those nice little banners that have been hanging up for the last almost year here are all going to go away, because as of tomorrow, we will have no restrictions for our worship services here in terms of how many people can come. So you'll be able to come, and if you've been accustomed to a certain place of sitting, and maybe you're accustomed now to where you're sitting now because you've been there for a while, but if there was a place that you always liked and I roped it off and you couldn't be there, you'll be able to go back and do that. So just some wonderful things as we begin to move forward with all of that. And finally, that end that we kept thinking about and praying about for the last year that we were hoping would come, it's getting to us. We're not completely out of the woods, but we're getting there very quickly. I don't think I've missed anything, but if I did, is there anything that anyone needs to add? Is there any questions for anything that's there?
When we had our board meeting, we talked about paying half of Canton Maca campers, and we decided to do that. But it wasn't until after that evening I found out the cost. It's $190 per child, but they're encouraging early registration, and with early registration you can take $40 off. And I'd like to just have a brief discussion afterwards, because I'd really like us to encourage people to register early, and for us to pay half of the $150 instead of the $190. And
Carol, did they have a date? Because the last time that I talked with Sherry, there wasn't a, whatever that, you know how when they have an early registration, they always have a date there of
It's June 18th.
June 18th. Okay, thank you.
Yep. So anyway, I just like to know how everybody feels, because that's my opinion. You don't have to agree with me, and we can talk about it real quick after.
I second that motion.
Just wanted to let everybody know there's some fiddleheads out back here on the table. Take as many as you want. If you want to feed, help yourself. They're not clean, but I got them packaged up so that you can get them home. The small boxes would be good for a feed, and there's some bigger boxes there if you want some for a couple of days. But I have extra, help yourself.
Thank you, Bernie. And thank you. Anything else before we head into our worship time this morning? Our call to worship is 2 Peter 1, verses 3 to 4 from the New Living Translation, and it says, "By his divine power, God has given us everything we need for living a godly life. We have received all of this by coming to know him, the one who called us to himself by means of his marvelous glory and excellence. And because of his glory and excellence, he has given us great and precious promises. These are the promises that enable you to share his divine nature and escape the world's corruption caused by human desires." I'm going to have us, she's going to shut that off.